Let me formally welcome you to our dear state and to appreciate the management of the Institute for choosing Benue for this tour. There couldn't have been a better time than now, having security experts and students visit our state at a time that we are faced with intensive security challenges. I believe that your study here will help you, and as you rightly said at the end, recommend to the presidency what you think to be done. So we appreciate this visit. And to underscore the importance of this visit, I insisted that despite my exigencies of office will create today, Friday, I've been away for a whole week. I wanted myself and my deputy and other members of Benue State Security Council to be around with me in this interaction. That was why we're doing this courtesy call at this late hour of your visit, because we wanted to be part of it. And so we appreciate you for visiting. And as the team of your research in this syndicate, the Global Climate Challenge, the prospects and priorities for economic development and conflict resolution in Africa, I think is very, very apt at this particular time. Because the truth is that when you talk about economic development, you cannot do that without security. It is impossible. If time had permitted, I would talk about my personal experience as a businessman, as an industrialist, as a farmer. I can tell you how much I have lost as a person. Then as a state, as the governor of Benue State, I can also tell you how much we have lost. As I talk to you, more than 1.6 million people in Benue State are IDPs out of the 7 million estimated figure. And Benue State is known as the food basket of the nation. Benue State's economy is driven by the civil service, but actively supported by peasant farmers. There are no large commercial farmers in Benue State. I'm one of them because of my privileged position and opportunity I've had over the years, even before I became governor. But not many are having commercial farming activities going on. Even my deputy, who is here, it is me that taught him how to farm. As the last count, when I inquired from him, He told him he was battling with 2 hectares of cassava, while I have thousands. But that is an improvement. And I have encouraged my cabinet members and even civil service. Very soon, as we go into the cropping season, we are going to allow a break. Head of service from Thursday to Friday, yes, 2 days in a week, to allow people to go into farming activities, clearing, cultivation, and all that, because food is very, very critical and important. And at harvesting period, we allow the same rule. For 2 months, we allow 2 days a week. So it is a big challenge that even the food that Benue State is known for cannot be adequately exploited because of security problems that we have. And some of these problems are not just related to Benue State or our country, Nigeria. There are external forces, largely from neighboring African countries. And that is why I'm delighted with this topic. You're not just looking at what is happening in our state or our country, Nigeria, you're looking beyond that. And I want to appreciate all of you for finding time to be here with us. And I believe that time has come in this country that we must forget about theorizing. We must look at practical ways. All of you are employees of various security agencies that this course is meant to support you and to build better and more capacities so that you can deliver, whether in Nigeria or elsewhere. But time has come that we must put those things we learn from various institutions, or the ones we learned from our elementary, our secondary, and tertiary institution, and even in the course that we're undertaking today, time has come that we will put those things into practice. They can be good on paper. They can be good when professors, doctors, lecturers, but sometimes practicals may differ. And so there's a relationship between theory and practicals, and we must try to exploit this to ensure that at the end we have security for our people. The current challenge and what we are going through in Nigeria today, I have said in the past that if government at the center do not rise up to its responsibility, we may not have government one day. And we have seen it happen in other parts of the world. In Afghanistan, it's not far, not long ago, bandits came and took over. And today they are running that country. And that is what we're seeing happening. Bandits are going about freely with AK-47. And no government will to stand up and stop this. Security agencies are being killed, not just the common man on the street. Here, we do not mourn again about people being killed every day. Even yesterday, people were killed by Fulani bandits. They like calling them bandits without putting Fulani there. It is Fulani bandits. It is very sad and painful that when people decide to execute certain agendas that they were not born, you bring a jihad against a people, you Fulanize a nation like Nigeria with over 200 million people. somebody who is against any Fulani man. I'm somebody who is liberal. Fulani people have helped me, and I've also helped them. Fulani people are in my government. But we must live, and let's live. Let other people too live. We should have the liberty. Can't go and bring an agenda from Ortom and Danfodio and then impose it on the whole country and take over Nigeria and make every other person slave. And they are not hiding it. When you talk, they rise against you. They try to assassinate me several times for saying the truth. The Bible says you shall know the truth and the truth will set you free. And Nigeria will take its place again as a giant of Africa when we begin to say the truth and live by the truth. But when we live lies, falsehood, deceit, and cunning ways of turning things around and making things in your interest, these things will not work. We deserve a better government. This government led by Muhammadu Buhari and APC have failed this country. And you hear them talking about Kuka, who is a bishop, who is not married, he doesn't have properties, everything is to service humanity when they try to advise them. When I speak here, when Governor Wike speaks, they castigate us. They send EFCC, their attack dog, over us. As I talk to you, how can you justify, Mr. Leader? As I talk to you, I have more than 1.6 million IDPs. And how can EFCC go and frozen an account that people donated money to the state, not EFCC, not federal government, donated money and EFCC go and seal that account that they cannot buy food for those people? What kind of inhuman treatment? Because you want to make people slaves. I want to tell you, EFCC, that God is watching you. This is not fair. Let them come here one day. If you want to probe, if you want to do fight corruption, go and catch all those people who are paying 100 million to buy forms to become president of this country, who have stolen so much, borrowed so much, and have enslaved Nigeria. Our children, our grandchildren are going to suffer to pay the debt that this current federal government is collecting from foreign countries. We shall be slaves. And this money is being stolen. If you want proof, EFCC, ask me, I will show you. But instead of common food, 70 million naira kept in account to buy food, grains, and food for IDPs, you go and seal it that you suspect fraud. It is criminal and evil against humanity for any person to reason that way. I decided to say this here before the press because I have sought to talk to your chairman and he declined. I wasn't going to media war with him, but I'm going to go into media war with him. His master, Malamia, and all those people who brought him and all those people, their other name is corruption. Shouldn't come and be disturbing any other person here because of what is going on. For some of us, we are ready to say the truth. And if God permits, even if we die, we have no reason whatever. I've written my will, and my family have it. I don't care about whatever people say, but I say the truth. I'll fight for justice, equity, and fairness. And I'm not going to stop. Those people who are keeping quiet, they will one day pay the price. For some of us, we have stood by the truth, and we challenge anyone who thinks that we have done anything wrong to come out with that thing that we have done. But it is inhuman and devilish for EFCC to seal an account of state emergency who are meant to feed the IDPs. How much have the federal government, the so-called federal government, been bringing to IDPs? You bring 200 bags of rice to feed 1.6 million IDPs. You bring a trailer load of Indomie. What impact will that make? My people are dying. My people are hungry. I can't continue to keep quiet. So it is really unfortunate. Even the president himself, Mr. Integrity, is corrupt. Who built that house in Katsina? The underground house he built in Katsina. Who built? Where did he get the money? How much is the salary of a president? Why is EFCC not probing him? All these things. How much is the salary of a minister that he will go and buy from for 100 million naira? Go and check his account. When he took oath of office, the code of conduct, what did they declare? Where are they getting that money? Why are EFCC not moving against them? They are moving against IDP, helpless people. Some women are there who are widows. You have orphans. Some don't even have father and mother. They are orphans. And they depend on what charity organizations give, what the state government does. We don't have that kind of money. Even salaries, paying salaries is a problem. And they are laughing about, they are giving other states money to clear salaries. But we here, because we oppose them, we tell them the truth, they have decided to fight us and make this thing. So that is the point. It is very, very unfair. Our people are suffering. Just yesterday, I was told bandits have taken over the place you went. If you have gone into the villages, they have taken over Kasinala, Logo, and Guma local government. I come from Guma local government. 2/3 of the population are living in the headquarters. 2/3 of the population. All my farm output, I give it to IDPs. I don't see how I can take something that the same land gave me and sell. To do what? And when the people are dying and suffering, women are giving birth in IDP camps, living on the mercy of mosquitoes. This is very sad. I weep every day. I'm very, very emotional. And I'm pained that we don't have a leadership that is not concerned, but rather buying weapons for Fulani herdsmen to come and take over the land, because that was what they designed by their forefather, Madame Fodio, in 1800. Because they would take Nigeria and make every other person be slave, and they have not hidden it. They say they will kill me. You can imagine the people that attempted to assassinate me. 13 Fulani herdsmen were arrested. Not even herdsmen, but Fulani men were arrested. I was told by the security people who came to investigate, led by this 419 called Abakari, who is a drug addict and pusher. They arrested them. For more than 1 year, they were doing investigation. And I kept complaining that, look, justice delayed is justice denied. Where are these people? And they came back and arrested my cousin and one Juku man. And at the end, they freed the 13 Fulani suspects. And they brought my cousin and the Juku man, and I prosecuted them in Makodi. Haba. That cousin that they arrested and are prosecuting was with me, and we were running together for our dear life on the day of the attack. So you can imagine, how can things work in Nigeria? How can you get things running? It is an unfortunate situation. General Abacha, and I quote him, he said, when terrorism thrived for 3 months, the government is complicit. I will continue to accuse the government of General Muhammadu Buhari and APC that they are complicit in what is happening in Nigeria. They are part of it. And because his tenure is about to end, they have released more of them and given them AK-47. Here in Benue State, when you have a cutlass, a dagger, a den gun, you are arrested. But those people with AK-47 are being protected. I tell you, I'm pained because even yesterday, 3 people were killed in one of the villages in Makudi local government, where we are, in Makudi local government here. And they took away 4 women. What do you suspect that they will be doing with those women? Is it not raping them? They rape, and this thing, they wrote it. They went to press and said that they are going to kidnap our women and rape them. Our children, they will rape them. And then you don't want anybody to talk. If you talk, you send EFCC to come after people. I mean, it's very, very unfair. Me, I'm ready to face EFCC. At any time, if you think I have done anything, if I've done anything outside the budget that the Benue State House of Assembly approves for me, come here. If you come against me, I will go against you too and take you to court. I already have a 100 million judgment against EFCC. You are not God. And thank God you have a representative here. If you have access to your chairman, tell your chairman I will focus on him, because I pleaded with my Attorney General to call him and draw his attention to what these people are doing here. Every day you just go and arrest innocent civil servants, innocent appointees. What is the meaning of that? If there are evidence, bring it forth. I am against corruption. You cannot be doing this kind of a thing. But if you want to fight corruption, start with the head. Start from Buhari himself. Then we will know that you are really fighting corruption. Start with Malami, the Attorney General of the Federation. Start with those ministers. Then we know you're doing something. Arrest those people who are buying funds of 100 million naira and doing campaigns worth $500 million already. Have you not been seeing them? Live coverage alone is how much? Those stadiums they hire, those people they pay to come to them. Billions of naira are being spent. And you can't go against them, you come against people who have not done anything. How can you prosecute people and be celebrating that you arrested people, Yahoo boys? Who sent them to Yahoo boys? It is because of unemployment, which this government has brought against them. You arrest people who steal chicken and goat. Me in Benue State, there are people who steal chicken and goat. I allow them to go with it. Even in my factories, people steal, but I allow them to go because it's hardship. So what do you want them to do if they have no food to eat? Go to my factories, they will tell you reports. And anytime management report to me that, look, these people came and stole this money, say free them, I will pay you the money. It is our fault who are leaders. We have failed in our responsibility. If you have provided jobs for them, they will not have time to go and steal. So people who steal goat and chicken, you jail them. People who steal billions, and you allow them. People in the cabinet of the current government who were being prosecuted for billions of naira, today they are in government. They have become sent because they belong to APC. And one-time chairman of APC said that as soon as you decamp to APC, you have become a saint. There is no need probing you.
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.